Hi everyone, I'm Natalie Miles, psychic medium and channel, and welcome to this podcast. First of all, straight off the bat, wanted to mention the LA fires because the community that listens, a lot of you are based in LA or know friends or have your own community members there, and it's just, there are no words. It is deeply devastating to watch the fires unfold over the last week. And what has been really beautiful, though, to witness is everyone supporting each other, the donations coming in, the community rallying around each other to support each other. And I think that just speaks volumes. It's going to be a massive rebuild moving forward. But seeing a community come together and support each other, and to witness that, I know I'm not there. I'm only viewing it through social media. But it is really been beautiful to witness the support that is going down. And I shared a bit about this because we had the Cancer full moon on Monday, on the 13th, that this is a really powerful lunation around looking at support, looking at our support systems, what works, what doesn't, and of course bringing up the monthly energy forecast theme, which is change, because we are facing a lot of change as we move through this month. But it's been interesting to see on a collective level where support is working. And hey, you might be listening to this and being like, yeah, I'm having to look at how I'm supported, how I'm held, who you talk to, who you share your emotions, your feelings and everything with too. And so it's been really interesting on a collective level to look at what isn't working with the support systems, the insurance systems that aren't going to be working off the back of this, the water that wasn't there, the forestry management, the budget cuts to the fire service across the LA County. Yeah, I mean, it brings up all the things around what does it mean to support a community, especially in a time of crisis. Yeah, and I talk about this, this is a theme around endings and beginnings, and looking at this is also part of that 2025 energy forecast as well. So yeah, big transformations going down, but sending all the thoughts and all the prayers to people who are but having to rebuild a community as they face the aftermath of what has happened with the Palisade fire and the other fires across LA. So yeah, big times. And if you've accessed the 2025 energy forecast, I said that this is a year of water, a year of air and fire. And straight off the bat, here we are with these massive fires being fueled by the winds, creating the fire that comes forward. Yeah, it's interesting. And if you want to know more about that, I do talk about it in the 2025 energy forecast as well, and that water will also be a big theme this year of how water is going to impact cities and countries across the world. And hey, with the LA fires, we're seeing that as water, of the lack of water. Again, you've got the ocean there, and again with I knew they had to get planes and everything in from Canada to support getting that water to the places that are needed. So yeah, all the things. But on the flip side of that, you might have noticed that I have had a massive launch this week, which is the Intuitive Foundation. It feels so amazing to have this out in the world and for you to be able to enjoy it and explore what this looks like for you. If you've taken the quiz already, amazing. I'm so intrigued about what everyone's top three types are. If you're listening to this for the first time, you're like, Nat, what on earth are you talking about? I've just released a brand new, innovative, and kind of original new way of how you can discover how your intuition shows up for you personally. One of the biggest questions that I get asked with clients, with you guys, with at events, on podcasts is, how does my intuition show up for me? How does my intuition show up for me, and how can I connect to it? So I was in this space where I knew I wanted to talk about intuition and nothing was coming through. And I was like, I had a chat with my spirit team. I had a chat with my guides and was like, look, I know you want me to talk about intuition, but if this is supposed to happen, you need to bring me this way of how I can talk about it, because I've written a book. I've written You Are Intuitive, Trust Your Truth, Take Back Your Power. What else can I say? How else can I help people with connecting to their intuition? And one afternoon in the summer, in August, sat outside. It just channeled all the way through. It literally came straight through me. I jumped off the page and it was there. My mum was there as well, and I was bouncing ideas and things off of her as well. And it was just like, oh yeah, it was one of those massive intuitive hit download channeler moments, which was just, it was like, this is it. And it just felt so right. And so I've been developing it behind the scenes since August, for you, getting it all set, because I know that, we're in this time right now where we want to identify. I'm seeing this as, if you've done your Myers-Briggs, this is like the Myers-Briggs of your intuition. This is like your astrology, but connected to your intuition. It's like having your human design type, but having your intuitive type. So as part of this intuitive foundation, you can take a quiz to find out what your top 3 intuitive types are. And then once you've taken the quiz, I've created this massive, it's basically like a book, because I wrote down, there are 13 intuitive types, and I've basically written a massive compendium document, channel download on each of the 13 types, your pro intuition traits, your shadow traits, how you can balance each type, and most importantly, how you can develop your intuition and what that means for each of your top 3 types. Lots of people have taken this already. Friends, family have been sharing it with them and getting their, making sure the quiz was as accurate as I could. And it's been a massive success. So many of you have taken it already, like, oh my God, this is super accurate. So the 13 types, bringing it back to the types that channeled through on that afternoon, they came through. I was like, first question I asked my guides was like, how many types are there? And I heard loud and clear, there are 13 types. I was like, okay, cool. Where do we start with that? And I kept channeling until I had 13 types that felt balanced. And the names that I have come that are here today were the names that came through on that afternoon. They haven't changed. And I kind of sat with the names until they felt right. So there's the accelerator, the channeler, the corpus, the creator, the earther, the empath, the galactic, the knower, the light bulber, the noticer, the questioner, the censor, and the traveler. Yeah. And those are the 13, and they are the 13 that make up the whole intuitive foundation. And then you by taking the quiz, get to discover what your top 3 types are. And what I've been really finding fascinating is that, we all have all 13 in us. Like, we all have every single one of those, but it is about identifying where we what we connect to, where we currently are. It's interesting because I think I would have potentially got different ones if I'd taken the quiz 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because it shows you where you are in the evolution of connecting to your intuition and finding what your gifts are. I mean, for me, I've loved being like, oh, I wonder what so and so is. I bet they're a galactic earther noticer, and they've taken the quiz and it's exactly what they are, and it brings me so much joy. And also just the feedback from people, the testimonials that are like, oh my God, I feel seen. So many people are like, oh my God, I feel seen in ways that I haven't felt seen before. So I'm really excited to see where this all goes. There is going to be a lot more content on this because there is just so much to share. And as you're a listener to the podcast, and I haven't shared this anywhere else yet, the February monthly energy forecast, as well as doing the main overview video for the month ahead, I'm also doing mini energy forecasts for each type. So once you know what your top 3 are, you can watch the main overview, and then you can watch your 3 energy forecasts for that month for each type, so that you can get even more of a personalized experience, because this is what has been a real driving force in creating this work, is making it personal. Because the usual ways you describe your intuition is seeing, feeling, knowing, and hearing, or the traditional, the clairsentient, claircognizant, etc., etc. And I've always felt like it's a bit limiting, and it feels really old school, and it's a really old way of talking about your intuition, and feels very two-dimensional. So this is also why I wanted to create the Intuitive Foundation, because I wanted a relevant way that we can talk about our intuition, how we can talk about our intuition, how it shows up in careers, how it shows up in our personal lives, what it means for us to navigate living in in the world that we live now, and experiencing that. So yeah, if you haven't taken the quiz, link in the show notes. If you're watching this on YouTube, link below of how you can take the quiz. And hey, if you know anyone that you're like, oh my God, they would love to know what their intuitive type is, please make sure that you share it with them, because it's free to take the quiz. Must say that too, it's completely free to take the quiz. So go and find out what your top 3 are. My top 3 question because I launched all of this on my Substack, and I've had a couple of DMs saying, Nat, what are your top 3? So my top 3 are the channeler, the accelerator, and the traveler. Yeah. So obviously the channeler being my top 1. I'm a psychic medium. I connect with spirit. I communicate. I am a translator from the spirit world to this world. and I receive that information. So I connect to, the spirit realm, which makes sense that I'm a channeler. The accelerator. I love this type. This accelerator type is all about how you connect with people, how you bring things to life, how you can see across timelines to bring things to life. You know who to connect with. You're a real people connector. You're good at bringing things to life and accelerating things. For me personally, this accelerator energy shows up in me wanting to help and accelerate your connection to your intuition, because accelerators also want to help others. So that has definitely been very loud in bringing this work for you. And when I used to work in film, I used to use this accelerator energy as well, like bringing things to life, making shit happen. Like, I think if I took this quiz back when I was working in film, I would say my accelerator was probably my number one, because I used that as part of my intuition. I knew I knew what was going on. I knew who to connect to who, how to make shit happen, and that's a really big accelerator trait. The traveler is one of my top three. The traveler means I can go and get information from the past, from the future. I have a really vivid dream state. I get things from the dream world. I'm also a remote viewer, so I can see things. I can go and put myself in places. That is my third out of my top three. And I think if I had a fourth, I think it would be the noticer. I think the number 4 for me would be the noticer. How I notice things. I notice things other people don't see. I notice what's in the shadows. I notice the unseen. I notice themes and patterns. So yeah, if you're someone that notices themes and patterns, you're probably a noticer. But I'd say that, that would be my number 4. And it's been so interesting to see the quiz results, because I get a tally of what everyone's top type is. And so currently, I mean, this has only been out it'll be out a week. The top types right now from everyone that has taken the quiz is the empath, the knower, and the noticer. And I thought that was really fascinating. Out of the top 3, one, the empath. And I go deeper into this. I feel that this is such a broad word used by everywhere right now on the planet. Oh, I'm an empath. But I really feel that there's a deeper sense of being an empath and connecting to your intuition, which I share lots more about once you've taken the quiz, because you get a full blurb or a full written down breakdown of what that means. The empath right now is the top out one, that's the strongest that's out there. And then the knower, so that you know things to be true. You know things about people when you probably shouldn't, because they haven't said things yet. When you know something's going to happen, or you get that knowing feeling in the body. So I thought that knowing is a massive part of intuition, and that is showing up as many of your top traits. And again, as I just shared about the noticer, that noticing the themes and patterns, the noticing what's happening in the unseen realm. So yeah, if you want to know your top 3, go and check it out. Go and have a look. I'd love to know what your top 3 are. So please send me a DM, or if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment below on what your top 3 types are. And if you want to go even deeper, once you've taken the quiz, as I shared earlier, I've created a massive body of work where you can receive your own personalized intuitive foundation. So off the back of knowing what your top 3 types are, I will then personally send you and personalize for you what your intuitive foundation is. You'll hear and get to know all about how to develop each one of your types, how to find balance with them. And the balancing also includes binaural beat activations that I've channeled through. I've got a specific new binaural beats track that has been composed by Corey Allen. It's a bloody good track. I love this track. It's different from the others. If you've been listening to the rest of my work and my binaural beats tracks that I use, this has got a different vibe to it completely, and I'm loving it. So yeah, it comes with all these amazing activations, and yeah, I'm really proud of this work. I'll just, this is the biggest launch that I've have done since starting my first podcast, like starting So Think You're Intuitive. I'm really excited to see where it goes and where it flows. And I'm just surrendering it up, and that's all I can do. But I know that this is here to support you to connect to your intuition. If you're someone that wants to go deeper with your intuition, this is an absolute game changer for you. So yeah, I'll put a link into the show notes of how you can get your personalized intuitive foundation too. So that you can feel supported in how you can connect to your intuition, how it shows up in work, how it shows up in relationships, and get to know yourself even more, but in a understanding your intuition. Yeah. It's been a pleasure to share this episode with you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'm going to be back next week. I want more guests on here. We're going to be talking about their work, plus talking about what their top 3 intuitive types are. Because I find it really fascinating to, discover what people's top 3 are and how that shows up for them in their lives. So expect more guest episodes covering that, which is going to be exciting. Have an amazing week. Move slowly as we're kind of integrating this full moon in Cancer energy. Be kind to yourself as you move through the week, and sending you lots of love. Bye.